So on June 23rd, 2018, a soccer team went on a trip with their coach to explore some caves in the Chiang Rai province of Thailand. Thailand is near China and India and above Australia in an area of the world called Southeast Asia. So the soccer boys and their coach go to these caves and start hiking around deep in the caves. And around the same time, it begins to rain really heavily. And to their surprise, the caves began to flood with water. So you can imagine how they're feeling when they're deep in these caves and they see the water starting to rise. So to get the boys to safety, their coach moved them further into the cave. That's the only direction they could go. And eventually they go 2.5 miles to where the water cannot reach them. But the problem was that they were then stuck because the water had flooded the rest of the caves. So the families of the boys knew they were in the cave, but no one could reach them for more than a week because of the water. So by this time, everyone in Thailand and even around the world were watching to see what would happen as the rescue for these boys and their coach began. A week later, on July 2nd, 2 British divers swam into the caves and finally reached the team. There had been other divers swimming around, but they finally made it. They had to go through murky water and through these tight spaces. It was a pretty dangerous ordeal. Finally, they found them, and there they were waiting on top of a rock deep inside the cave. So next, they began to plan how to get these boys out. Some said that they should teach them some basic diving skills and take them through the water that way. Others thought another entrance to the cave might be found, so they started looking for that. Another idea was to start drilling into the rock to make a new hole for them, so they were going to drill from above. At the same time, they had started pumping water out of the cave to make it easier. But the problem was another heavy rainfall was expected to start soon. This was called a monsoon. And another problem is they were running out of oxygen in the cave space, so the clock was ticking. So more divers entered the cave, most of them Thai Navy SEALs. Thailand has its own team of Navy SEALs who have been trained similar to the United States Navy SEALs. But overall, there were 40 divers from Thailand and 50 from other countries, making that 90 divers who were involved in the rescue. Sadly, one of the divers from Thailand lost his life when he got stuck in the caves trying to rescue the boys. But eventually, 10,000 other non-divers helped in rescuing these boys. So many people cared about these boys and wanted to help to bring them to safety. So time was running out. There's going to be another rainfall. They're running out of oxygen in the cave. They've got to do something. So they finally decided to give the boys some medicine, some sleepy medicine, to keep them from panicking, because that can be very dangerous when you're scuba diving. So they give them this medicine to keep them from moving, and then they gave them full-faced masks so they could breathe oxygen, and the water was extremely cold, so they had something on them to insulate them. And then using 2 divers at a time, they moved the boys one by one the 2.5 miles out of the caves and to safety above the water. It took a few days to move all of the boys and their coach out of the caves. And just after the final boy and coach were rescued, the pumps they were using to pump the water out broke. So there's now 100 of the divers in the caves who were helping get them out, and it began to flood again. So they had to hurry, pack up their gear, and get out as quickly as they could. But all of the boys were taken to a hospital, and fortunately all of them are doing well along with their coach. Thanks to the efforts of many brave rescuers, the soccer team and their coach all survived. A few other interesting facts is one that the coach was a Buddhist monk. Buddhism is a religion that teaches principles about how to lead a good life and also teaches meditation. Meditation is where you learn to focus and to breathe slowly. And the coach said he taught the boys meditation while they're in the cave, and it helped calm them and relax them while they were waiting to be saved. I think this is such an incredible story with such a great ending. It was interesting to research it and to learn more about it with you. I wouldn't be surprised if they even made it a movie soon because it was so interesting. But thanks for being with us tonight. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Bedtime History Current Events. If you enjoyed it and have any feedback, be sure to drop us a line on our Facebook or Instagram pages. We also have lots of fun videos on YouTube. Be sure to check those out and subscribe so you can be notified when there's new videos. And thanks for your time and have a good night.